Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this HP laptop model 14-CF1015CL. Okay, so you're going to want a PH1, I believe, and then we're going to have to remove these rubber feet. Okay, so first what I do, I just use my fingernail. You can use whatever you can to get it out, but once you do that, you just pull this up. Okay, set the rubber aside. It has little things that extend out so you know which way to put them back. Alright, so we're going to remove both of them. Okay. Alright, oh, this one doesn't really have as much to hold it in place. It has two little notches for these little holes. But yeah, so first we're going to remove all the screws. So there's 3 underneath this one near the hinge. Okay. You want to keep the screws in order because they can be different sizes, different shapes, different lengths. I always like to put the same screw back where I got it. That way you don't have to worry about if anything is the wrong size or length and you forget where it came from. I try and put them in order on my desk so that way I know where I got them from. Okay, then you got 1 underneath this one, and then you got 2 underneath or on the bottom here. Okay, so those screws are shorter and they're also a different color. So they're like a light gray instead of silver. Okay, once you remove all those screws, you want to turn the computer around, open up the screen slightly, and then inside here you'll see there's a gap between the bottom and the palm rest. So you want to get in there either with a pry tool or your fingernails. I use my fingernails and I just, as you can see, let's see, I get my fingernails in there. Once I do that, I push with my thumbs on the back and pull back with my fingernails, just like this. Looks like something is loose inside, but that's what you do. Okay, just go around, and you just go all the way around the machine. Okay, just like this. Okay, I'm going to move these things a little bit further out of the way so I don't knock them all over the place. Okay. All right. Remove the rubber pieces. Okay, so once you get the plastic cover all the way up, this side's a little bit tricky on the back. Usually what I do is I kind of lift up the front and kind of push the front this way and kind of shake it and wiggle it around just like that, and it comes out. Okay, so I wonder what that plastic piece that fell out, hopefully it's not a screw mount. I don't see it in here, but there you go. This customer had liquid damage, so I need to find out. Oh, here we go. It was a screw mount, but which one? Where'd this come from? That one's fine. That one's fine. Huh. I don't see. It must be the center one because I don't see where the screw was going. Oh, here. So that screw, this screw mount used to be here, but it broke off. So I'm just going to use some super glue or something and kind of glue it in place. It's not going to be perfect, but what can you do? All right. So I'm going to grab some super glue and see if I can glue this back. It's going to be tough because it's at a really awkward angle. But yeah, I'm going to put the super glue here. Hopefully you guys won't have to deal with a broken one like this. But yeah, all right. Why is the glue not coming out? Super glue's not coming out. I'm going to have to use a needle or something. Okay, I'm going to just use a thumbtack and then poke a hole in there, see if maybe it's clogged for some reason. If you do that, make sure whatever your tool you use to poke the hole in, that you clean that off before the glue completely sets on it. Okay, so just grab that. Forgot my brother had work today. Okay, and then just put the glue. Most people probably won't have to worry about this, but here we go. Okay, so you got this. There's a line here on the side, so you know it lines up with that. So line that up and then squeeze that together. Okay, so this is going to be a little tricky. Might have to do it off camera because I can't adjust the camera while I'm doing this. Okay, so now you just make sure, oops, to keep it aligned. Hold it there. Super glue takes about 15 seconds or so. Just hold it. Okay, sorry, this wasn't meant to be part of the video, but it ended up being it just because this thing broke off. Okay. I don't even know what time it is right now. I need to get like another separate clock or something, or get my watch back. I haven't been using my watch in a while. Okay, so there we go. So now that should, yep, hold itself in place. Okay, so now to go back to actually disassembling the computer. First thing you want to do once you get it open, if your computer isn't broken, then you want to take the battery out. Okay, so there's 3 screws up towards the top, and then there looks like there's 1 screw. I don't know if there used to be 1 screw down there. It doesn't look like it. So we're just going to take those screws out. Okay, so take the 3 screws out from the top here. All right, get those 3 screws out. All right, and the one in this bottom corner here. Okay, once you got those 4 screws out, you should be able to lift the battery up. I like to get underneath like the plastic parts of it, or you can even go from this one, and then you just pull it up. Okay, so this is the connector here. It just connects straight down like that. If you need a replacement battery, the model number is HT03XL. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. HT03XL. Hopefully you can read that. It's on the weird crease thing. Okay, there you go. Okay, so next we're gonna have to take everything else apart. So let's go to the RAM. You want to make sure you're grounded if you're touching any of this, basically meaning touch something metal, make sure that you don't have any static built up. And I don't know what kind of RAM this is. I know it's PC4 DDR4. They have a replacement HP part number, which is 862398-855. Oh, I forgot. Okay, this is it looks like 2666V. So I think my customer, they told me that they attempted to clean up the inside. They used isopropyl alcohol. So they actually probably made the problem worse because they didn't know what they were doing. But I guess we'll find out. Hopefully they didn't damage any of the connectors or anything. Okay, we got the M.2 SSD. This looks like a NVMe, PCIe NVMe SSD. If you want, you can put a second stick of RAM. I forgot to mention, but yeah, this looks like an 8 gig PC4 2666V. So if you want, you can replace it with that, like the same specs. It's good to match the size, but the speed and everything you want to have the same as well. The size you can put differently, but it works best when you match it. Okay, so of course this SSD doesn't really give me any information either. It does say NVMe. Okay, so it is a PCIe NVMe SSD. Oh, on the bottom it says SK Hynix. Okay, so there we go. We got the SSD. It is a PCIe NVMe SSD. Now we're going to go ahead and disconnect everything else from here. So it looks like this board with the, I think that's an SD card slot, but I'm not 100% sure. And the USB-C port, they are a separate board that you can remove from the computer. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and remove all these components. So you got the keyboard backlight cable here. As you can see, I flipped up that latch. And then we're just going to pull this back. Maybe let me zoom in a little bit, make it a little bit easier for you to see. Okay. Then you grab the cable and then just pull it out. To put it back, you just slide it back in while the latch is up, and then you latch it back down on top. Okay. Pretty self-explanatory. Just do the reverse of what you did to take it out. Okay. Put it back in like that. Okay, so I'm not going to show how to put everything back in, but yeah, well, I might do the reassembly. We'll see. All right, you got the keyboard connector here. Same thing, flip that latch up. Once you do that, lift that up. If you can, get just the blue tab, and then you can kind of pull back on the blue tab. Okay, keyboard connector looks clean. I don't know if they cleaned all of those pieces. And then you got the trackpad connector here. So the trackpad, or the touchpad, let me zoom out because there's too many components connected to each other. So you got the touchpad cable here going to the main board, which goes to the buttons, and then the buttons connect to the touch part itself. Okay, so to remove that, same thing, flip the latch up, grab the blue part, and then pull it out. So this looks like they wiped it or something, tried to clean it. The connector looks okay, so hopefully it should be fine. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix this one. There is only one wireless antenna on this one, so that's normal if you're opening it and wondering why. Just grab the tail to remove it and then pull it up, okay? One screw holding the wireless card in place, just take that screw out. It'll pop up just like the RAM, and then you can wiggle and pull it back, okay? Usually the computers, the laptops are very picky with these wireless cards, and you have to use one specific from these computers. Otherwise they won't work. But yeah, because some people ask if they can upgrade the wireless cards, and the answer is I don't know. Most laptops will have like software built in to prevent it, but you can buy one, try it, and see what happens. You never know, it might work. All right, so you got this tab here for this board. Let's flip that up. We're going to take out the two screws holding this in place, okay? All right, let's take that out. I'm going to have to leave the board in because it looks like they guided the wireless, actually, okay, the wireless antenna goes around it. So now that I got the wireless antenna out, I can actually pull this cable slightly up and hopefully remove it. I don't know why it's coming out. Okay, let me pull the blue tab and then, come on. I don't know why this cable doesn't want to separate from this board. Maybe they got something on there and it's stuck, but come on, let go. There we go. So we got that cable disconnected. All right, then you got the wireless antenna, just route it around and take it out. All right, so we got this board here. This is the daughter board for the USB-C port, and I think this is the power button. Is that the power button? I forgot to mention, when you remove the battery, it's always good to press and hold the power button. So what I'm going to do is reattach this and then press and hold the power button from this side. This is important if you're doing anything with the LCD or LVDS connector, so which is the screen cable, okay? Because the screen cable usually has a lot of voltage that can fry things. So anyways, I reconnected that and the buttons here. I'm going to press and hold the power button that's built into this board for about 10 to 15 seconds. That should drain any power from the computer to prevent damage, since I am going to completely take this thing apart. It is liquid damage, so I don't know if it's still going to be working or not. They said it wouldn't turn on at all, so it's probably toast, but we'll see. All right, so I'm going to take this back out. And this board, that looks kind of okay. I did see one of these pins look kind of weird, but maybe I was just imagining it. Okay, so I'm going to clean the dust off of this piece. Okay, so this also has the little LEDs, I think, for like the power and the hard drive light. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. Okay, sorry, something flew in my eyeball. Okay, so now we're going to take all the other screws out. Let's remove the fan. I don't think I have to take the board out to remove the fan, so let's try and remove the screws holding the fan in place. All right, we got one in that corner, and we got one in this corner. Okay, let's see if the fan will come out. Nope, it looks like it is underneath the board. Anyways, I'm going to remove the fan connector here. So I just pinch the wings of this connector, and then you kind of just wiggle it as you pull it. All right, just like this. It might be a little tough. It helps to use like a better tool. If I use my thumbnails like this, it's easier. So just like this. Okay, and just keep wiggling it. It is coming out. You want to be careful not to pull the cable if you can. I mean, if you can help it, but sometimes it does help. You can grab the cable and wiggle and pull it, but a lot of times you might end up breaking it, so I try and use the wings of the connector if I can. So this one, it's really stuck, so it looks like you will have to use the cable here. So if you can, grab as close to the connector as possible, and then I'm going to wiggle that as I kind of help with my fingernail here. Wow, this cable's really stuck in there, but just keep wiggling it, and it should come out. I don't know why this one doesn't want to come out. And I don't know if someone has a better tool that they use to remove these kinds of things, because it would need to be very solid. Tweezers wouldn't work. You'd end up just bending them. You'd need like some special super heavy duty tweezers or something. But anyways, I'm just going to keep trying to wiggle it and pull it. Looks like it's stuck really good in there. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't want to come out at all. Well, let's try and lift the fan up and out. There we go. So if you lift the fan up, there's a little thing that post that it sticks on. So once you do that, you can take the fan out this way. But I don't know why the cable is stuck on there so strong. It doesn't want to remove. Come on. Wow, this is crazy. Stuck fan connector. I don't know if it got damaged from the liquid or what, but it doesn't want to come out at all. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. I might have to just leave it on there because it won't come out. But yeah, normally you just wiggle it and it will come out. It went back in, but does this connector need to be like pulled upwards or something? No. Come out. You can hear it squeaking. It's not, but it doesn't want to come out. So I don't know what's going on with this cable. It doesn't want to come out. It doesn't want to release. It doesn't matter how hard I try. I'm wiggling it. It's just staying in there. So whatever. I guess I'll leave it in there. I'm going to clean the dust off of it at least. Guess we'll just snap this connector back in, even though it's not really coming out. Clean off the dust here. I mean, if your fan connector is broken, then you're probably just going to have to like rip it out. I don't know. It doesn't want to come out for me, so if yours isn't coming out, then I guess it's the same thing. Probably just have to use a lot more force, or you can use some pliers and just like crush the thing, I guess. Try and yank it out. I don't know. I don't want to use too much force and risk damaging it more. So I'll leave it in there, and then we're going to go ahead and start removing screws from the motherboard here. Okay, so we got this screw here. Okay, let's see if I can keep these in order now. There's a lot of screws that I'm going to have to keep track of. Got the speaker here. You can lift the speaker straight up, take it out. Okay, I think the same with this side, but the hinge might be covering it. Let's see. Okay, no. So you can lift both speakers out. This one does tuck slightly underneath the LCD cable. Okay, so this is the speaker connector, and this one, see, if I wobble it, it comes out so easily. I don't know what's going on with the fan connector. If yours is easy to remove, then I guess the liquid must have done something to this. Alright, then we got another screw down here we're going to remove. I don't know why my phone randomly keeps locking up or something. Alright, so we got that. Then we got another screw over here we're going to remove. Alright, this computer does have a slot for a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. You can put a SSD or a regular spinning drive, but you do need a little adapter that plugs right here. So there's this little latch here. So if you wanted to add another hard drive, you would need to get an adapter for that. Alright, let's take out this other screw up here. Looks like we do have to remove the hinge or move it out of the way to get the board out. So let's remove the hinge screws here. Okay, so there's one there, there's one up here, and then there's one in the back corner there. Okay. Again, there's a lot of screws. They are all different sizes and shapes. You do want to remember which screws go where. Try and keep in mind where you took them out from. Put them in order on your desk. Take pictures. I don't know. Whatever helps you. All right. After you do that, it's hard to get underneath here. So what you want to do is very slightly lift the base up. You don't want to try and lift too high because then you can break the plastic here. So you just want to lift it slightly and then push it back down. Now you get a gap here, and then you can use that to rotate the hinge out of the way. Okay, so then we got the charge port, DC jack. You got the CPU, which is soldered to the board. You can't change that. All right, we're going to remove the LCD or LVDS connector here. This is for the screen. Flip up that latch, and then you can take this out. Let's see, that connector looks okay. All right, we're going to disconnect the DC jack or charge port connector. So get the wings and just wiggle it like this. Okay, and it pops out easily just like that. So I don't know what's wrong with the fan connector. Everything else is coming out nice and easily. Well, I guess except for that cable that was close to it. So maybe it is something with the liquid. All right, I think we got all the screws. So let's try and lift this board up. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. Alright, so the board is coming out just like that. This little plastic piece came out. This was like holding with the battery here. I don't know why they have this here, but yep, they just had this for the battery. So remember where that came from. If you need to put it back, that's where it came from. Okay, so we're gonna flip this over, look at the bottom. I really don't see any damage on this board, so I don't know. These cables are pretty stiff, so maybe what's going on is the power button board or something got damaged. It's hard to tell when it got cleaned up unless they took pictures or they can remember and tell you where it came from. So also they got markings on the cable, MB, so you know this goes to the motherboard, and then I don't know why it says SD. I guess that's the SD card slot, but yeah. So this cable was a little bit stiff and it looks like it's not perfect condition. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but it's not in perfect condition. So my guess is that this board is the one that took all the damage, and because of that the power button doesn't work. It might have fried that. So if they're lucky, it could be their motherboard is okay and just the power button board is bad. I'm gonna try and clean the connectors. I'm just using a toothbrush, and then if they're lucky it might turn on. So it's hard to tell when somebody else worked on it like where the damage was, because then they cleaned up all the residue. So sometimes if you're gonna work on this, you might want to take pictures, so that way if you need somebody else to work on it, you can show them like where the damage was, where the liquid was that you found, and that will help them kind of diagnose your board better or know where to focus if they have to clean it or work on it. Okay, so I'm gonna put the cable back in here. Okay, so this one, yeah, so this cable was like crusty and stuff, so I have a feeling it might be that. If the main board is okay, if they're lucky, it might just be that, and that's what's causing all the problems for it to not turn on at all. Yeah, that cable's really crusty. I don't know if that cleaning is really gonna help with anything, but okay, so I'll clean the daughter board side. Okay, same thing, just brush it up. Okay, like I was saying, I don't really see much else on here, so I did clean it. I'll check closely if there's any corrosion, but if I don't see any corrosion, then the only thing that can be done is basically replace parts, which is pretty expensive. Yeah, I don't know how to diagnose the circuits, so that kind of thing is something else. If somebody else knows how to diagnose the circuits, then you can do that, but yeah, I don't know how to do that. Alright, so what this stuff that's stuck under here is, it looks like there was some tape stuck under there at some point. Oh, okay, something got torn out here. Where'd this come from? Up here? Up there? No? Yeah, I don't know where this came from. It must have come from another laptop, because I don't think the customer opened this before. Okay, so we'll clean off the dust here. If it still doesn't work, then I don't know. I'm gonna take a look at the other side, just clean it up if I see anything that looks weird. It looks okay, but I guess I'll just brush it anyways. Maybe when they cleaned it, they left some shorts on the board, and if they're lucky, just scrubbing it off will help fix the thing. Okay. Alright, so now that we got that done, we're going to put it back together. Okay, so same way we lifted it out, we want to put it back the opposite. So since we lifted the bottom first, we'll put this piece in first. There's a little raised notch there that you want to drop the motherboard on top of, and then slowly lower it down. Okay, make sure that you're not trapping cables underneath. If you do, lift it back up and take them out before you finish putting it back in. Okay, just like that. Okay, so we got this. Okay, first thing we're gonna do in reverse, put back the DC jack, the charge port connector. Okay, just like this. All right, now we're gonna put back the LCD or LVDS connector. Just lift up the latch. All right, put that back in place. I'm gonna have to look over the top, so if I get my head in the way, I'm sorry. Okay, just like that. Put the latch back down. Make sure the cable goes underneath, around, follows the guide. Okay, and then you can push back down the hinge. Right, make sure the hinge lines up properly into the little raised, I don't know what those things are called, the raised posts or whatever. Okay. So I'm going to have to lift up the base to kind of help with that. All right, is the cable, I don't remember if the cable was on top or on bottom. I think it was on the bottom, so that's how I'm going to put it back. Hopefully that's right. Doesn't look like it's going completely flat, but there's no other way because that's where it hits. So I guess that's how it was. Flip up these little latches, put back the keyboard backlight cable. Right, I know I'm not doing these exactly in reverse, but it's okay. All right, put back the keyboard cable. Okay, just like that. Put back the trackpad cable. This one has some crusty stuff on it too, so let me open that and clean that out as well. Looks like, okay, it did clean off some. All right, put that trackpad connector back in. There we go. Fan connector didn't come out, so we'll leave that. You want to tuck this corner of the fan in first and then drop down the other end. Make sure the cable's not getting caught. All right, and then drop it in place. All right, so I'm going to start putting some screws back in. We got the fan screws here. They're slightly longer ones. All right. Okay, just like that. Then we got this screw here with the flat top. That one goes to the motherboard. It's a shorter screw. Okay. Most of the motherboard screws are like that, so we got another flat screw here for the motherboard as well. And then we got another flat screw for the motherboard up here. All right, then we had the longer small screw down here. Going based off my memory right now, and also how I laid it out on my desk. Then we're going to put back the hinge screws, so you got the shorter, smaller screw here. Then you got the longer hinge screw up here. Excuse me. And the other longer hinge screw at the back corner here. Okay. Right, so now we got all the hinge screws back in. This one can like twist pretty tight, I think. I don't know. Hopefully it's not. There we go. Okay. So that one's in all the way. Then we got the speakers. So let's put the speakers in. You have to like guide it underneath the LCD or LVDS connector. And then you got the other speaker there. All right, just push them down in place. Got that. Reconnect it. Okay, just like that. All these connectors are in. This cable, you have to guide it around, so keep that in mind. All right. If we put it back on this way, this one went on top, and then the speaker or the antenna goes underneath. So I'm gonna actually connect the cable here first because it's easier. All right, so we'll reconnect this cable first. All right, just get it lined up, put the latch down. Now I'm going to get the antenna up out of the way, go underneath, and then this goes underneath the whole assembly. So I'm going to thread it underneath, just like this. Okay, and then guide it around. Make sure it goes under that way. Okay. I don't know if it matters if this cable goes behind. The cable was in front of these two raised metal pieces when I saw it. I don't know how it was originally. That's how the customer brought it to me. But you can just put it back however it fits. I'm going to lift it back over and put it on the other side because that's how they brought it to me. So I'm going to leave it that way. Okay. Take the wireless card, put that back in. You want it to go at an angle. Okay. Just like this. Alright, drop it down. And put the screw in place. And then line this up. Alright, there we go. Put that screw in. Other screw in. I just put it in loosely for now. Once I get both of them in, then I tighten it down. Okay, I don't think this tucks underneath. It just sits on top of this little metal post here. Oops, I dropped it. Sorry, I was trying to show how it was seated and now I dropped it. Where'd it go? Here we go. Okay. So it sits like this. You have the flat side on top. You don't want the one with the raised piece there. Okay, and then you just drop it in like that. Okay, let's put the SSD back in. Just like that, slightly at an angle, slide it in. Alright, push it down, get the screw, put that in. There we go. Take the stick of RAM, put it back in. It was down here, but I mean, you can put it in either slot, shouldn't matter. There we go. Put the battery back in. Line up the screw holes, line up the little notches down here. Okay. Alright. Once you go all lined up, push it down here. Now the battery is connected. The computer has power live, so be careful. Alright, and then we're gonna put these screws back in. Okay. I don't think the computer is going to be fixed, but we'll find out when I plug it back in. These computers, when you remove the battery, you do want to plug it back in or it's not going to power up. Okay, so maybe I should also test with my charger. Anyways, put back all the screws. And you can actually test it now without putting back the bottom cover and the bottom cover screws. I'm going to get a charger and I'll be back. Alright, give me a second. Alright, so I got the charger. Let me unravel it. Okay, what is this plugged into? That was for the hot glue. I can unplug that. Okay, so now we got the charger. Okay, we're going to plug it in and see if anything, if it lights up. If it doesn't, then it's most likely the motherboard is just toast. And yeah. So I plugged it in. The light is on at least, so here you can see the white light. So it's not completely dead. It's weird that it's not charging at all, so it was fully charged. Push the power button. I did see the screen do something, so it might be working. We just got to give it some time. Sometimes these computers, when you take out the battery and it's resetting the CMOS, you have to wait for it. So let's see. Right now it's not doing anything. Just give it some time. I do see the light on the side is on here, so it is doing something, or it's just detecting that power is plugged into it. But I'll just give it some time. We'll see. If they're lucky also, it might be a bad stick of RAM because that's easy to replace. So it's still not doing anything. Usually if it's a bad stick of RAM, the caps lock button and stuff would like be randomly lighting up. It's not doing anything, so I think the motherboard is toast, but either the motherboard or the RAM. So let's see. Give it a little more time. It's not doing anything, so I'm going to turn it off right now. I'm going to force shut it off by holding the power button. Okay, I'm gonna wait. Okay, the screen did go off. So the screen is coming on, but it's not doing anything. Okay, I'm gonna power it back on, see if anything changes. The screen went black again. Oh, actually, I wonder if they just fried the backlight circuit. So I can't really see it, but sometimes you can tell. Sometimes the computer will be on, but there's no backlight. So actually, it's not having a flashing hard drive light, so I think it's dead. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything at all. So I think it's actually toast. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on the screen at all. So I think this computer is actually toast. I'm going to try without the stick of RAM in and just see what happens. Yeah, nothing's happening at all. But I can tell when it's on, like the screen changes. It goes completely black instead of like a greenish black. I don't know if you saw that. So yeah, right now the screen backlight's just completely dead. I don't know if they were trying to do something and messed it up. They might not have taken out the battery and then taken out the LCD cable. So let me power this off completely again. Hopefully it stays off this time. It turned itself back on by itself last time. All right, I'm gonna take the stick of RAM out. We're gonna power it back up and see if anything changes, just so we can see how it reacts with no RAM. No change, it does the same thing. Screen just goes black. This light goes on, nothing's happening. Okay, so I don't think it's a RAM issue. I'm gonna try taking out the SSD. So a lot of times these actually, there is a difference. When I press and hold the power button, it's not turning itself off anymore. Let me see, let me try again. The light on this side is just staying on. Oh, there we go, it turned off. Okay, so let's take the stick of memory or the hard drive SSD out. Okay, and let's see if there's a difference here. Pop that out. All right, see if there's a change. Same thing, black screen, nothing else. Yeah, nothing's happening at all. All right, I'm gonna turn it back off, put the stick of RAM in the other slot, see if there's any change with that. All right. All right, turn it back on. Fan is spinning. Nothing's happening. The fan stopped spinning. Yeah, nothing at all. So, well, anyways, that's pretty much all there is to this. It looks like it is a dead motherboard. I will test the SSD with a USB adapter and on my computer just to see if it's working. If they need data, hopefully they can at least get the data from it. But yeah, other than that, hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, like and subscribe because that'll help others find my videos. Thank you for watching. If you're wondering how to put the cover back on, just do it in reverse, put it back on, snap all the outer edges in, and then put the screws back in. But anyways, that's all there is. I'm going to let my customer know and then see what they want to do. That's why I'm not putting back the whole cover yet, because I don't want to take it out, put it back, and then take it back out. But yeah, alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.